Tombstone, Arizona Territory, September 2, 1885. With the arrival of the morning stage, a series of events began that brought Clay Hollister to grips with a criminal type unknown to wild and woolly Tombstone.
Where can I get a carriage around here? There's a livery stable right down the street.
New arrivals acted with the assuredness of those who knew what they wanted and where they were going. A few miles from town, the second happening took place in this series of events.
Good afternoon, folks.
Hello, Aaron.
George Camden.
Aren't you glad to see us?
What do you want?
We want your ranch, Aaron.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened, in the town too tough to die.
Tombstone Territory.
The late afternoon of September 2, 1885.
Clay?
Aaron.
Clay, I'd like you to meet Miss Patricia Camden.
Miss Camden?
And this is her brother, George. Clay Hollister.
What brings you to Tombstone, Mr. Camden?
Well, it's a business matter, Sheriff.
That's why we came to see you, Clay.
I understand you notarize a transfer of property.
Among other things?
Well, the courthouse is closed. I wonder if you'd take care of that for me.
You selling the double T, Aaron?
That's right.
Well, it's taken you 2 years to put it on a paying basis.
Well, we made him an offer that he couldn't refuse.
Yeah, it says for valuable consideration.
Everything is in order, Clay. Will you put your seal on it?
Surely. You're not going to be leaving Tombstone, are you, Aaron?
As a matter of fact, he isn't. He's staying on with my sister and me.
George and I aren't really capable of managing such a large ranch without help.
Thank you, Mr. Hollister.
It's been nice meeting you.
And you.
Well, there's something to be said for being a landowner. Of course, you know all about that, don't you?
If you're asking if I miss my home in Boston, the answer is yes. It was wonderful.
Well, you made your own choice. You've done pretty well these past years, Aaron. Since you ran off with all our money.
You'd have done the same thing to me if you'd had the chance.
And left you to serve 3 years in a filthy prison as I did? Well, that's all in the past.
And now what?
Well, it's taken quite a while to find you, Aaron. Too long, I suppose, for there to be any of that money left.
It's almost all gone now. Most of it right here in this ranch.
So now we start all over.
Not me, George.
You're still wanted in the state of Massachusetts, you know.
But I'm here in Arizona. And there's no extradition, George.
You know that. You came up with a winning hand, didn't you? Patient Aaron left with the money and his freedom. Well, those things won't do you any good 6 feet under. Now, as I said before, we start all over. This forsaken place is just made for my talents.
Now, look, George, I've lived here almost 3 years. I know Clay Hollister. You can't get away with a thing.
You've played a pat hand quite a while, Aaron. But now I hold the winning hand. And as for your sheriff, he's a clod.
Don't underestimate Sheriff Hollister. He's no man's fool.
Well, if he's no man's fool, maybe he's a woman's.
Saturday afternoon, September 5, 1885.
Mr. Hollister!
Hello.
Oh, good afternoon.
How are things out of the double team, Miss Camden?
A little more settled now, thank you. We'd like if you would come out and see what we've done to the ranch.
Oh, I'd like that.
How about tomorrow? An early Sunday dinner?
Thank you very much.
You'll come then? 2 o'clock.
I think I can make it. Tombstone kind of tames down on Sunday.
Well, we'll see you then. Bye.
Aaron, I bet that was the best meal ever served at this ranch.
Why, thank you.
Certainly the best I ever had in Tombstone. And the prettiest cook. How do you like ranching, Mr. Camden?
Well, frankly, it's much more of a job than I thought.
Oh?
He's working harder at this than anything else he's ever attempted.
Matter of fact, Aaron and I have some work to do this afternoon.
On Sunday?
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. I know Mr. Hollister understands. You can entertain him. Excuse me.
Won't you sit down, please?
Thank you.
Have you ever been in Boston?
No, I'm afraid not.
Well, you'd like it there. It's full of history.
Well, we're still making ours.
I never thought of it that way. Oh, here's a picture of the Boston Common. I was brought up in Boston.
A quiet Sunday afternoon in Tombstone.
When Mother died, there wasn't much left for us in Boston.
Well, what made you decide on Tombstone?
George's idea. He'd looked at some ranches in West Texas and decided he liked this part of the country better.
I hope you like it.
I'm sure I will now. But isn't it dangerous being a sheriff?
Sometime.
How many men have you killed?
How did we get on this subject?
You're right.
Well, now that's finished. I hope you weren't too bored, Mr. Hollister.
Hardly.
Could I get some refreshments?
Not for me, thanks. I have to see if the town's still there. Excuse me. Thanks again.
You're always welcome.
Miss Camden, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Did you enjoy yourself, my dear? Evidently, Mr. Hollister did.
This was your idea, George.
Monday morning, September 7. Sheriff Hollister was summoned to the Bank of Tombstone.
You the only one that knows the combination to the safe?
Why, yes.
Is there anybody that you suspect? Any of your clerks?
None of them, I'm sure. I've been robbed 6 times in the past, at gunpoint. Never had it done this way.
Yeah, it is kind of slick for Tombstone. Oh, hello, Harris. Make quite a story for you.
How'd they get it open? Somebody must have known a lot about safes. Figured the combination.
A safe cracker, man. It looks that way.
Well, Tombstone attracts all kinds of people.
Yeah, Tombstone does.
Do you think Racklin could have done it?
Ah, it's too obvious. Besides, why would he wait till Sunday? He's got access to it all week long.
Well, you check on everybody that comes into Tombstone. Do you think some trail hand could have opened that safe?
No, this was done by a professional.
Well, then it must have been someone outside of Tombstone.
Camden. Well, he was working on the books.
You were with him.
Yeah. But they left me alone with Patricia most all afternoon, so they had work to do.
Well, Aaron used to run that ranch by himself. Why all of a sudden is there so much work to be done on a Sunday?
Where does that leave Patricia? You don't suspect her, do you?
Do you? What are you going to do, Clay?
Hello. Clay, I just came from the bank. George and I had money there.
So had a lot of other people.
I understand it happened while you were with us out at the ranch. I'm sorry.
Are you?
Is there anything you can do?
Yes, there is. I'll let you know.
Well, if there's anything we can do. I'm truly sorry, Clay. The way he looked at me, I'm sure he knows something.
Well, that's impossible. What'd he say?
It's not what he said, it's the way that he acted.
Could it be that there's a hidden rapport between you and the sheriff? Well, even if he thinks he knows, what proof has he?
I still think you made a mistake coming here. Before Hollister closes in, there's still time for you to...
I told you what I thought of your bumpkin sheriff.
You're so smug, so sure of yourself.
There was a time when you were as confident in my judgment.
Why don't you just leave? Take the money and leave. Hollister doesn't give up.
Well, if he doesn't give up, it wouldn't do me much good to run, would it? And if he suspects me, it doesn't leave me much choice, does it? Getting rid of him will give me great pleasure. Great pleasure.
George, take the money and leave, but please don't kill him.
He won't kill Hollister.
The night of September 7, 1885, George Camden rode for Tombstone. He wasn't alone.
Drop your gun, George. This is your last hand. It's me, Clay Aaron. Don't shoot.
Sit down and start from the beginning.
It's the first time I ever shot a man, Clay.
Was Patricia in on this?
No, she wasn't. When George told us what he'd done, we tried to make him return the money.
You didn't know anything about it when it happened?
No. I was working on the books. George said he was going into town. Something about a meeting with a cattle buyer.
Why didn't you say something about it that night?
I didn't think anything about it at the time.
Why did George try to kill me?
He thought you knew he pulled the robbery. He said he was going to leave town, but first he was going to kill you to get you off his back. I couldn't let him kill you, Clay.
No. No, you couldn't, could you?
Patricia Camden waited at the Double T. Only one man returned.
Well, you still up, Patricia?
What happened? Where have you been?
I had a little talk with George.
Where is he?
He's dead.
Dead?
That's right.
You?
Seems I held a winning hand after all. You didn't think I'd let him take the Double T away from me, did you? Or leave him alive so he could blackmail me?
What about Clay?
I saved his life. To him, you and I have been the unwitting victims of your brother's greed. Well, the money's been returned. It's all over now. Where are you going?
I really don't know, but I'm getting away from here.
You're staying. Just for appearance's sake. When I decide different, then will be the time you go.
Aaron's story just doesn't ring true, Harris. Why didn't he just hold George? Take his gun and hold him until I got there.
Well, you're going to have a hard time convincing folks that Aaron is anything but a hero. He saved your life, and he recovered the money of a lot of people. September 14, 1885. Patricia Camden was seen in Tombstone for the first time since the funeral.
Afternoon.
Clay,
Sorry I couldn't be with you at the cemetery.
it would have seemed a little strange. After all, my brother did try to kill you.
Are you planning on staying on?
For a while. There's no place to go.
What about your family?
There is no family. Not after this.
I'm glad you're staying on. I'd like to know more about you, what you are.
What I am? What am I? I really wish I knew.
Aaron, thanks to you, we still got a good sheriff in Tombstone.
I just did what any man would have done.
Modest, ain't he, Sheriff?
Means you really are a hero, Aaron. You deserve a reward. But there wasn't any offered in town, so I wired Boston. That's where George came from. I thought he might have a past. Boston police are checking on it. I should know in the morning.
The afternoon of September 14.
Mr. McLean! What time is your friend coming by?
You say the stage leaves at 9:30 tonight?
Yes, sir, 9:30 sharp.
He'll be here just a few minutes before. And don't you forget, you save a seat for him.
Don't you worry.
The pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. Clay Hollister confirmed his suspicions at the stage depot, while Aaron McLean was being toasted at the Arcade Saloon.
Drink Aaron with me.
Here's the Nick.
Just in time, Sheriff.
No thanks.
We're drinking to Aaron.
I said no thanks.
Sheriff never drinks when he's on duty. Isn't that right, Clay?
That's right, Aaron.
Boys, a toast to the man who saved our money and the sheriff.
That's a fine group of men.
Yeah.
Oh, Clay, I was going to drop by and see you later at the office.
What about, Aaron?
Well, it's Patricia. Well, I was hoping you might stop by tonight and maybe have a little talk with her.
Well, I guess I could.
Oh, fine. That'll do her a lot of good. Say about 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock.
You hear anything from Boston?
Oh, tomorrow. You'll be the first to know.
8:30 p.m., September 14.
You startled me.
That's a bad sign, Aaron. Nerves.
Really? Why should I be nervous?
Aaron, many things you are, but a clever murderer you're not.
I'll show you how clever I am. I asked Clay Hollister out here tonight. You're going to entertain him while I leave on the night stage.
Aaron, do you realize how ridiculous you sound? You're talking just like George. Why, you're even copying the way he tricked the sheriff.
You shut up.
Don't worry. I won't say anything. You have my word. You'll slip somewhere. He'll get you.
It's him. It's Clay Hollister.
Hello, Patricia. Aaron. I hope you don't mind my coming early. Aaron said 9 o'clock.
Not at all.
Good. Things are kind of quiet around town.
Oh, glad to see you, Clay. If you'll excuse me.
Oh, don't go. I'm sorry that I haven't seen much of you lately, but Aaron said that...
I haven't felt much like seeing people.
Yes, he said that you'd been a bit upset. He feels kind of natural guilt.
He did what he had to do.
How about a drink, Clay?
Oh, not for me, thank you, Aaron. No, I just had an early supper. Sit down, relax. By the way, Aaron, Charlie down at the stage depot asked me to tell you something. There's been some mix-up. There won't be a seat for your friend on tonight's stage, after all. Come on out, Aaron.
You leave me alone, Hollister. I'll shoot.
I said come out!
You knew all along. That's why you came early tonight. You knew I was leaving on that stage.
That's right.
You'll never take me. I'll win the last hand. I always do.
Not this one, you won't. Now, come on out or I'll start shooting.
I saved your life, Clay. If it wasn't for me, you'd be dead.
Well, thanks. But I'm not the jury, and I'm taking you in. Now, you going feet first? Let's go.
And what about the charges still pending against Aaron in Massachusetts?
They won't matter much if he's hanged in Arizona.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Clay. Bye, Miss Camden.
Clay, what's going to happen to me?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm not the jury.
Things could have been so different. I'm sorry, Clay.
So am I.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run foul of the law, it's a handy place to be. 'Cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be. Whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory.